Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new Virtua Fighter special episode of the SEGA News Bits. I'm your host, George. With me is Barry.
Yes, Virtua Barry.
Virtua Barry. Comes in very little polygons.
Yes, and no L.
I was going to say it. And floaty jumps.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about Virtua Fighter Trademark being renewed by SEGA, and what does that really mean? SEGA... you've probably seen the story floating around about how SEGA has renewed the Virtua Fighter trademark, so that has to mean that there's going to be a new Virtua Fighter game, right? Not always. I did a story in 2012 about how SEGA renewed the Skies of Arcadia trademark, and nothing really happened with that. And even though Virtua Fighter hasn't had a new entry in a decade, it's still being used by SEGA, so I'm assuming that, my personal opinion, that they're getting this so they can use the characters. So far, they've had cameo appearances. Since 5 came out, they had cameo appearances in Smash Bros., Dead or Alive 5, Project X Zone 1 and 2, and even SEGA's own Genkai Bunko Fighting Climax video game. But what do you think this means, Barry?
Well, typically I agree with you, and it's not going to be any different here. I do agree that I don't think this will amount to much. I mean, it's the equivalent of when your website's going to expire and you renew the domain. It's just the difference is SEGA's not really making Virtua Fighter games, but they still own the trademark for it. So it just makes sense that when the trademark is going to expire, you renew it. You did mention the Skies of Arcadia thing. Around that time, there was the Dreamcast collection going on. There were rumors that Skies of Arcadia was going to be one of the games. In fact, I think Jürgen Post or someone from SEGA Europe even said we're getting a Skies of Arcadia. That never happened. I really don't know what to say. I mean, we haven't had new Virtua Fighters, but then again, we have had, I believe, Virtua Fighter 2 hit Xbox Live Arcade, did it not?
Yeah.
So they're not against still re-releasing games, and who knows, we might get Virtua Fighter 5, the complete on PC. That in fact, that's what you wanted, correct?
Yeah, I think if SEGA wants to test the waters, they could re-release Virtua Fighter 5 on Xbox One, PS4, and PC, and give it the definitive edition, because even though Final Showdown was the latest one in 2012, it was missing some stuff. It was missing Virtua Fighter R, which is a prior update. It was missing its unique levels, its unique music. So I think if SEGA did another re-release to test waters and add a free-to-play mode, the way kind of Dead or Alive did, where it's not free-to-play, but it's more of a glorified demo to get people addicted, I think that would probably be the best bet for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been a lot of rumors going around too that SEGA AM2 is dead. So let me just say that they're still around, but they're just not as big as they used to be. They still update Border Break, which is a game that came out in 2010, or prior than that, I think 2009.
Yeah.
They did a Hatsune Arcade, which, I mean, I'm not that much of a Hatsune fan, but good for them. And they did another one called Cannoli, I think it's called, or something like that. It's like a ship battle card game that just came out earlier this year.
Yeah, are they women as battleships or something like that?
Yeah, like little girl anime characters as battleships. Yeah. So they're still around. I mean, they're not doing the kind of games that we would want to as fans, but they're still around. Who knows if there's a lot of demand for another Virtua Fighter game? It might happen. The fighting game tournaments have quadrupled now. They're huge now. Street Fighter 5 just had 2 million views on ESPN2. So there is a market for it, and maybe SEGA will think that it's good enough.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, let us know in the comments below what you think about this trademark and what would you want to see for the future of the Virtua Fighter franchise. And like always, thank you for listening.
Do you like SEGA? Do you want SEGA news? Visit SEGABits.com and don't forget to visit us on all of our major social networks.